Hi folks, this is Vincent Idley with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to play Space Base. This is our first time playing, so we're going to be learning as we go. It's a 2 to 5 player game. It supports ages 14 and up, and the average play time is about 60 minutes. So, here's a look at everything. I know it looks like a lot. I'll do my best to explain it, as new to the game as I am. Here's a look at the box inserts. If you remove these, there's spaces for more cards to go into. In the box, we've got more player boards. There's 3 of them that we're not using. There's also 3 starter sets of cards, again, for the 3 players that we're not using. So I've got the blue cards, Idly has the purple cards, and these are the 3 remaining colors that we're not using. There's also some cubes of different colors. White is for energy charges, which I'll get into in a minute. Yellow is for income, blue is for victory points, and green is for income. And that goes down here. That ties in with your 3 different tracks along the bottom of the board. At the start of the game, the yellow one starts on 5, which is your credits. That's what you're going to be using to buy cards. The middle of the table basically is just a purchasing area. There's level 1 cards, level 2 cards, level 3 cards, and then you've got these victory point cards which you can buy. Whenever you buy a card, it goes right over top an existing card. The space that it goes on depends on the number in the upper right hand corner in gray. So for example, this one has an 8 here. It costs 8 to buy, and it goes in the 8 slot. So whenever that happens, it'll go right over top this one. However, if there's a card already there, which there's going to be, you're going to take the existing card, flip it over, and put it like that so that the red number is showing. See that? So you're probably wondering, so why are there blue? Why is there red? Blue, the general rule here is anything in blue is a benefit that you gain on your turn. Anything in red is a benefit that you gain on another player's turn. This game, after reading the rules, this game reminds me a lot of Machi Koro. In fact, I would call this Machi Koro in space. Machi Koro being I don't want to say SimCity-esque card game, but in that game you roll dice, and depending on what cards you have, all players collect income, and then they can buy stuff. Oh, it's very similar here, very similar. So, yeah, there's each player starts with 12 cards. Well, yeah, I think that's 12. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they start with like a starter set of cards. Each card, again, has a number in the upper right-hand corner. You put them in that appropriate slot. They're numbered 1 through 12 here. And that way, whenever dice are rolled and you activate the dice, you just simply look at, okay, I'm going to activate, let's say I roll a 2 and a 5. Sure. So on my turn, I can activate the 2 and the 5 and earn the blues. Or I can activate the 7 and earn that blue here. In this case, I'd earn a 1. If I did activate the 2 and the 5, I'd earn a 1 for this and a 1 for this, because they're in blue. If I activated the 7, this is a 3 here, so I would earn 3. So obviously I'd want to activate the 7 as opposed to activating these 2 individually. If it were my turn, and now Idly also has the ability to use these dice and activate cards. So for example, if I rolled the 2 and the 5, she would look at her cards. Anything that she had in red above her board here, she would be able to activate. Right at the beginning of the game, there's none of that right now. So if I were to go right now, she has no cards that are considered deployed. That's what the key word the game uses is deployed. There's no cards on this top row here that are flipped over in red, so the other player would not benefit right now. But at the beginning of the game, when the game is set up like this, each player takes one of these. I'll take one, and Idly takes one. And we pay for the cost. So in this case, this is Idly's card. She has to pay 5. So you're going to put this on the 11 here. Yep, so this is going to flip over like that. Okay. She's never played this either, so. All right, and this goes here now. And I'll explain what those different bonuses and effects are. And then this is mine. I pay 3 and put that here. I have to pay 1, 2, 3. And you have to move your yellow marker down 5 because your card costs
down 5?
Yeah, down to 0. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So at the beginning of the game, each player takes a random one from the 1 card, and then that determines actually player order. It says here, the starting player does not gain any resources. The player who drew the highest card shown in the top right is the starting player. So in this case, you would be the starting player because your card was 11 and mine was 3. Okay. So you're the starting player. The starting player does not gain any resources. The second player gains 1 income. So I start with 3 instead of 2. So what's going to happen is on your turn, again, you're going to roll dice. As the active player, you're going to assign those dice and activate your blue cards.
Okay.
As the opponent that is not playing, the passive player, if you happen to roll a 2 or possibly 2 1s or something like that, I could activate this. If you roll 2 2s, you can activate the space twice. Or you can add them up and take the 4. So like in this case, there's a 2 and a 2 here. I could activate, if it were your turn, I could activate, well actually this is a 3, bad example. Let's say this were over here. If this were on the 2 space and it were your turn and you rolled these, I could do 2, 2, and activate this twice to get one each. Or I could just add them up and activate the 4, but there's no 4 here for me to activate on your turn.
Yep.
This goes back over here. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and roll the dice, and then after you do that, we'll see what happens. Okay, so 6 and a 2. Okay, so we take a look at your board. Now, it's hard for the camera to see her board because the cards are a little small and hard to make out.
Yeah.
But, so she can do this one and this one, the blues, or she could activate the 8 and gain 3. So it's either a 1 and a 1 or 3. Now, I would choose the 3 personally.
Yeah, I would.
So that means that you would gain 3 yellow. 1, 2, 3. And that stays there.
Oh.
That stays there until you buy another card, and I'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
So
I have to flip it over.
No, you're fine. So there's a 2 and a 6 here. Now there's no red for me here. There's no red for me here. There's no red for me. So I can't really make use of that at all. Okay, so after that, you get to buy a card. I'm pretty sure that's the active player only. Let's just make sure. Again, this is our first time playing. Here's a look at the rule book. And just as a quick side note, I'm not trying to review the game or anything because I'm still new to it. But this manual has a lot of typos. Like for example, this word should say each. There's at least 2 or 3 typos that I found on this particular page. I don't know why it was able to print in the condition that it was in, but it's fairly informative as you can see. But yeah, there's a number of typos in this rule book that. I mean, granted, you can understand what it's trying to tell you, but
is it an English-based game?
It is English, yeah. It's just they missed the E in each, so it's ACH, automated clearinghouse.
But like the makers, like
I don't know what this is. This is an AEG game. I don't know where they're based, honestly. I don't keep up with that. But anyway, getting back to this. Okay, pay cost. Okay, the card. This is so buying a card is optional. You may buy 1 ship card from the shipyard or buy 1 colony card as the active player. Okay, so only you get to buy something. So
with my yellow.
You have 3 yellow, correct? So you've got 3 yellow. So you can buy any of these cards where the top left says 3 or less. Now, whenever you buy something, you spend it all. You don't get to, it's not you're making change, you spend all of your money. I know it's kind of weird.
Wait, so yellow will go to 0?
Correct, whenever you buy it. Regardless of what you buy, it's going to go to 0.
Even,
It's weird like that.
Okay.
Another thing to note at the end of the turn, at the end of this turn, the money, I think for the act, again, this is new to us folks, bear with me. End of turn. You may not use activations during your turn. Reset your credits. If your credits is less than your income, the last thing you do on your turn is move your counter. So basically, at the end of your turn, you're going to move your yellow, wherever it is, to wherever your green, the value that your green is. So if you raise your green income up to 9, at the start of every turn, you're going to have at least 9, basically. So you want to raise your income if you want to start with credits at the beginning of your turn. Otherwise, you have to earn the credits by rolling dice.
Okay. So I can buy something. What does a rocket mean?
The rocket is victory points. That's the entire goal of the game. The first player to get to 40, which is all the way on the right here, basically wins the game. You can buy these cards as well. Instead of just buying those cards here, there's one of each number. So there's 1, 1, there's 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. They get placed over top cards as normal. However, you cannot replace this card. So once you put this down, you cannot put anything on top of it. So it stays there for the rest of the game. But it'll give you a lot of points.
Yeah. How do you get green income?
How do you get green income? Some of these cards will give you green income, but they're not out right now.
You see. So I can buy something. I might as well. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose it. You're going to reset your credits at the end of the turn anyway, so you might as well buy something that's 3. I mean, I'm sure I'm reading this right. It says, end of turn, finally reset your credits. If your credits is less than your income, the last thing you do is move your counter equal to... See, that's another weird thing about this rule book. So, it says here, reset your credits. Does that mean bring it down to 0? Do we lose all of our... That doesn't sound right to me. Like, the act of losing all of your money at the end of your turn and then putting it back to your income value. That doesn't sound right to me. I mean, to me, money should accumulate from round to round until you're ready to buy something. And then when you do buy something, it'll go down to 0 because there's no change. I think that's what the rulebook means. But again, I have some issues with this rulebook. The typos. This is not exactly clear. It just says finally reset your credits. Well, to me, that could read reset them to 0, or maybe this is reset your credits and then. What that means is if your credits are less than your income, the last thing you do on your turn is move your credit counter equal to your income counter. So yeah, so it's just like, it's just a little confusing. But what I'm going to take this as is your credits do not reset to 0. They just, if they happen to be lower than your income, then you get money. And we'll get to that when we get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I understand. This is a new game to us, so we're learning as we go. Okay, so you get to buy a card, or you can. It's optional if you want to.
This one?
Okay, yes, you could buy that one if you want to. So if you want to buy that, that goes in your 7 slot, which is here.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is you're going to pay 3 credits. You're down to 0, and you have to take the 3 off of your. Or I'm sorry, the 7. Where's that one? So you would flip that over to the red side, tuck it under there, and now this becomes the active one.
Okay.
Now, in the future, whenever it's my turn and I roll and a 7 is rolled, you can activate that if you want to. That red. So in the beginning, we're not going to be... On another player's turn, we're not going to be able to do much. But as the game goes on and we start tucking more cards up here, we'll be seeing more action.
I see.
Okay, so this gets replaced at the end of the turn. And I believe that's it. So now it's my turn. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice. Okay, 6 in, that little rocket is a 1. That's one thing, another thing I don't agree with. I know they were going for like, graphical, whoa, cool rockets kind of thing. But that's the same symbol as your victory point counter. So, I mean, to me, I know that's a 1. But to a completely new player to gaming may look at that and go, well, that symbol looks like that symbol. So do I get a victory point or not? So I just think that's just a little misleading.
Oh, that's not what it does?
No, that's not what it does. That's just the 1.
Oh.
That's just the 1. So
this,
see. Okay.
That's funny.
In this case, it's a 6 and a 1 or a 7. That's all it is.
See.
So I could either activate the 1 and the 6 and get 2, or I could activate the 7 and get 3. Well, obviously I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. You have a 7. Yes, you've got a red there. So you get the value listed here, not the value that was on the... So you get to move up 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And that'll work for you for your next turn or whatever. Okay, now I can buy a card with the 6 that I have, or just bank it for another turn. See, if I don't want to overspend, though. That's what stinks. The one, like in Splendor, the 1 cards are the cheapest. 2 cards are middle of the line, and the 3 cards are like really expensive. And there's some advanced mechanics on these cards that I haven't shown you yet. Like you'll notice there's these little blue squares and red squares and all that stuff. Yeah, this is something that we haven't gotten into yet. But basically, whenever you assign dice to this card, you're going to put a charge on it. like so. You put a little white cube on it. And on your turn, because it's blue, you can remove the charge to activate the effect. You do not earn, basically, whenever you assign a die to this card, the act of adding a charge, that's all you do. That's your reward. That is your, not this blue 3 here, not the 3. Whenever you remove the charge, to remove it, and that's when you can get the benefit from that.
When do you remove it?
It depends on the color. If it's blue, it's on your turn. You can do it whenever you want. If it's red, you do it on your opponent's turn.
I see.
And same thing for the red side. So now there are some instances where they're linked together. In that case, a card can have multiple charge slots, but you only need to spend one. So you could accumulate charges and then start spending them whenever. But in some cases, you've got these little link symbols here connected in these boxes together. This means that you have to have all 3 filled up. And then you have to remove them as a group in order to activate the special effect here. Yeah, it's definitely different. So, go ahead and put this back. Alright, so anyway, getting back to... Okay, so I did the 6 and the 1. Am I going to buy something? You know, I may save my... Well, this is a 5 here. With this 5, these arrows, what this means is, if I put this on, let's say this space here, like if I put this on top of the 6, these arrows mean if I activate this card with a die, in this case it's a 10, or yeah, it's the 10, so it would be over here. So if I were to activate it, if I did roll a 10, then I can either take the bonus from the 9 or the bonus from the 11.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So if there's a really good card that you want to try and, you know, get more of, you can put arrows next to it to try and, you know, move your die roll over to another one. So that's interesting. But I really don't have a lot of cards that... I might do that for the 6, so I can land on the 7. You know, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to spend all of my money. I don't get change, so I will take this. Now, another thing is these cards are a little hard to get out of the box insert and off of a table, obviously, but that's my fault. All right, so 5.
What do these numbers mean? The ones in the...
That is the slot that they go into.
Oh,
I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I was thinking it was going to go here, but you're right. I have to observe the 10, and it would go up here, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to give myself 6 again.
Were these drawn randomly? These cards?
Those are starter cards.
Oh, okay.
So everyone has the same starter cards.
Really?
But at the beginning of the game, like I said, each player draws 1, pays for the cost, and puts it. So we start with a very slightly different board. But for the most part, everything's the same.
Oh, I like it. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, me too. I like it. I just wish the instructions were a bit more fleshed out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm not going to buy anything, and I'll end my turn. So now you get to go. All right, 5 and 1.
5 and rocket.
5 and rocket. So I have no red, so I can't do anything. But you can activate the 1 slot and the 5 slot, or just the 6.
5 and 1.
The 5 and 1. So you're gonna get 2 from that. So you're gonna move your
2.
Yep, 1, 2. You're up to 4, and you can buy a card if you want to.
And you can save it, right? Too, if you need.
Yeah,
to.
you can save the money if you want to, or you can whatever you want to do. And again, that's what I'm interpreting the rules as. The reset your credits. I'm assuming that means only if it's below the income value.
Yeah. All right. Oh.
To me, that makes more balanced sense.
Yeah.
That would stink if I woke up for work to look at my bank account and go, oh, well, all of my money's gone, so I guess I got to work. I got to spend my money before I go to sleep tonight. Otherwise, it's going to go automatically to 0. The bank's going to take all my money. It makes more sense to carry the money over.
Does this mean 1 and added to whatever?
Correct. So it's, you get a money. If you activate this card, you get 1 credit, and you activate the effect next door.
That's kind of cool. And then you have to get rid of the one in the back, right? Like
No, the red cards
it?
accumulate. Nope, the red, they keep stacking.
Oh, really?
And you take each one. Yeah.
Whoa. That's disgusting.
So eventually you might have like 3 or 4 on one number, 3 or 4 reds on one number, and then they all activate, and you get stuff, lots of stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. That's what I said.
What? And this is how much they cost?
Yes, in the upper left. You're not going to be able to afford these
No.
really unless you save up a bunch of money or until you start buying some cards from here to give yourself more money.
Yeah.
It's just like, again, Machikoro. I know you probably don't remember Machikoro.
Nope.
We played it. It was a city builder-esque game. We started with like a couple of cards, and our goal was to flip over the 4 city cards to win the game. To do that, we bought cards from the center. We put them in our little area, and we rolled dice, and if that number came up, we'd score money.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the same concept here.
All right, I'm gonna actually.
You're gonna pass. Okay, so now I'll go. 1 and 1.
2.
Okay.
How did you get a blue? I forgot.
The blue is just from these rockets.
Oh.
You have to land on it here, or do that.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna activate the 1 twice because activating the 2 just gives me 1. So I'm gonna get 1, 2. Now I have 8. Do you have any reds on your 1s or on your 2s?
Yeah. These, right?
Well, those aren't deployed yet.
Oh, yeah.
You have to flip them over and put them up here
Yeah,
first.
that's right.
No, you're fine. So I'm going to, and this is an 8. So I have enough for 8. So I could buy something from here maybe. This is a 10, and if I get it, if I roll a 10, then I get 5 victory points.
Mm-hmm.
This is a charge card. If I charge it, and then I activate that charge or remove the charge, claim 3 level 1 cards. That's pretty powerful. That goes on the 12, though. The odds of rolling that 12 is a 6 and 6. That's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the snake eyes. You know what? I'm thinking... See, I want to generate income is what I want to do. So, you know what I'm going to do? 7 is the most common number. Oh, this is a 1. Crap. I don't know. Well, no, 1 gets rolled pretty often. There's 2 dice. So I'm actually going to pay 7. I'm going to overpay by 1. Put this one like so, and put this here. So now anytime anyone rolls a 1, I can activate it, get 1 from this, and then when I roll a 1, I get a 3 if I choose to activate it that way.
Cool.
All right, so we reset this, and now it's your turn. Roll some 1s. 5 and 6, of course not. Okay, so you can activate the 5 and 6 or the 11.
Oh.
The 11, you've got those arrows.
I can. Oh, can I do the green one?
Yes. So you would activate the. So you can either do one of 2 things. You can activate the 5 and 6 and get 2.
Okay.
Or you can activate the 11, move it over to here, or move it over to here, and that gets you 1 income either way.
Yeah.
So you're going to take 1 income.
Yeah.
So at the start, go ahead and move that up to 1.
To 1?
Yep.
It's not going to move up to 0?
No. You don't start with -1 in your bank account, no. So you have 1. So at the beginning of every turn now, you're going to start with 1, or whenever you spend money down to 0, at the beginning of your turn, you'll go up to 1. So it's like free money at the beginning of your turn.
Cool.
After you're broke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you want to buy anything with the money that you have?
No. Oh.
You've got 4?
I got 4.
Okay. You could afford anything, anything from this first set of cards here.
You know what?
You know what?
I am actually going to buy this one.
Okay, go for it. That goes on your 7 slot. So you can move your board down a little bit because the camera can see it.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
So
now you can take this card.
Yep.
Flip it
over.
so that it goes underneath, or it doesn't matter, over top, underneath, whatever. As long as both are showing, you're fine.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And you bring your money down to 0.
Yep. Or to 1.
Bring it to 1 because at the end of your turn you're going to go back up to 1 anyway.
Oh, okay.
And then we're going to replace this.
Ooh.
Sounds like someone's muffler is falling off its car. Okay, or motorcycle. All right, so my turn?
Yep.
All right, so the 1. Okay, 1 and 3. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. So I'm going to activate the 1 and 3 separately, which are these 2 cards here. I've got a 3 and a 2, which gives me 5. And do you have...
can't.
You can't do anything. No. Okay, so I'm going to... Let's see if I can buy anything. These arrows go here...
What are these cards again? I'm sorry.
Those are one-time victory point cards. There's 1 for each number on the row.
How do you get those?
You just buy them. Their cost is in the upper left-hand corner.
Oh, can you only buy the one that's first showing?
No. This I only have them in a deck. You can buy any cards you want from
wow.
the stack.
Okay.
But the cheaper it is, the worse the victory points. But again, these once you buy one and put it here, you cannot put anything over top of it. It locks the board down. But you get
so you can't stack at all?
Well, not anymore.
Wow.
The reds still count.
I see.
But you can't put anything over top of it.
Oh. That's like for endgame stuff.
That's more endgame, yes. You know. So 1 and 3, 5. Do I want to do anything? That 12's kind of nice, but what are the odds of rolling that? I don't want to replace this. No. I mean, I could go for that strategy, keep stacking my ones, and then on your turn, if you roll a 1, I can get a bunch of money from it. That's one of the strategies in games like this. Do you focus on a couple of numbers, and when they're rolled, they pay out big, or do you spread yourself out so that you get something little every turn? That's where this strategy comes in. All right, you know what? I'm going to try and stick to the low numbers because I'm... All right, so I will actually do that. Granted, on my turn, I'm actually going to get less if I roll a 1 for the moment. However, I have to pay my money. That's 3, but I go down to 0. So this flips over. But on your turn, if you happen to roll a 1, I'll get 3.
Nice.
So I'm going to try and keep stacking those 1s. Because I have a 1 in 6 chance of you rolling it on each die. So, and I have to replace this. It goes on the 11th slot. 5 money and 1 income. That's really nice. But the odds of rolling an 11 are tougher than, 1 and 4. So, on my end of things, I'm going to activate that 1 and the 4, but the 1 I can only take on. So I'm going to get 3 for me.
Yeah.
This 1, 2, 3. You can either do the 1 and the 4 for 2 or the 5 for 1. You're probably going to do the 1 and the 4.
The 1 and the 4.
Okay, so you get 2 money.
Okay.
And you go up to 3.
Yep.
You started at 1 because of your 1 income.
Yep.
Okay, so do you want to buy anything?
Yes.
Okay. You've got 3 money. This is worth 2, 2, 3, 3, 5, and so you cannot buy this one.
Yeah.
You can buy any other one.
I'm going to buy this one.
Okay, go for it.
So you don't get it.
So the 1, I see. So that other one goes, flipped around. Very good. And you spend all your money, back to 1.
Yeah.
The only reason why they don't say to bring it to 1 immediately or to bring it to the income value so that you can't...
buy more stuff like...
Correct. Because since you're spending all your money, it's going down to 0. It's basically, you can only buy 1 card per round, basically.
I understand,
lol. Okay. So I roll 5 and 4.
Ooh.
So I can either activate the 9 space, which is 1 income, or I can activate these separately and get 2. I'm going to take the income and just move this up to 1. Am I going to buy anything with 3? That one's sticking out at me. Oof, I don't like my odds with that 12. I really don't. Well. Oh my goodness. Whew, it's tough. Alright, well, this is a 7. Kind of like this one. So that would replace this. So I'm going to spend my money, spend my 2.
To 1.
It'll go to 1 at the end of my turn. But yeah, this is a 7. This flips over. This was a blue 3, now it's a blue 4, and I've got 2 in the red in case you happen to roll a 7. And then this replaces like that. And that's a 9, if anyone gets a 9. Whoa, 5 and 3.
5 and 3. Or 8.
Or 8.
I'll take the 8.
Okay.
So that's 3.
3, yep. 2. Now for me, I have a 3, but not a 5 or an 8. So I'm going to take the 3, earn 1 money.
Cool.
And so are you going to buy anything with your 4?
4? 4 or less, right?
Yeah, so this one, this one, this one, this one. If you wanted to buy it.
No, I'm going to pass.
Pass, okay.
I don't like wasting my money.
I understand. I'm the same way. 6 and 5, 11, wow. All right. In that case, I'm going to do another income.
Cool.
And I still have 2. I could buy something. That's a 1. That would give me a victory point. And I could get that. If you happen to roll a 1.
I have 11, so do I get 4?
Oh, absolutely you do.
1, 2, 3.
Good job. All right. Yeah, those 11 and 12s they pay off a lot, but the odds of rolling them are lower.
Yeah.
But hey, odds are odds. You never know. So again, for my 2, am I going to? I can only buy this one if I wanted to buy it.
And the winner is whoever gets to 40? Or no, the victory points.
The victory
right?
points gets to 40. Yep.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm never gonna buy anything.
Yeah, right. Basically, no. So I am going to buy this one. That replaces my 2 moneymaker here.
Nice.
But again, this is another red 1 for me. So this goes here. This goes down to 0, then back up to 2 again.
Yep.
Basically a free card. All right, and then it's your turn. I'm going to replace this.
$10, 5 and 5.
5 and 5. You can take the 5 twice, or you can claim the 10.
I will claim the 10 and move
Income.
my income
Okay.
to 2.
Awesome. You going to buy anything with your 8 money?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
You can buy anything except for this one.
Yeah.
Everything over there is 13, 13, 13, 14, 12. Yeah, there's nothing over there.
And 8. So. And I can't add it either, like a card that costs 4 and another one that costs 3.
No, unfortunately not. I don't think so. Well, I can add. Let me look real quick.
Alright, I doubt it.
Buying a card. You can buy 1 card on your turn unless otherwise specified. That's what the rules say.
Alright, so I guess I will buy. Well, this is scary.
It is. Interesting.
You said they stack, right?
Yes, the red stack.
Yeah.
Sorry, so do you want to see what this does?
Yeah, I just want to see it.
Okay, so for the camera's purposes, and I'll show Tylee too, you'll see that these things have a little link between them. So when she activates this card with a die, she'll put a charge on it. But she needs 3 charges on it, and then she needs to activate it to remove those charges. And then she gets to activate this ability, which is, it says 2 here. I'm wondering if that 2 goes along with it. Swap your 4 and 9 sector cards.
That's it?
Yeah.
Let me see.
But that's good, because the 9s are going to give you more benefit than your 4.
What is this? Is this you have to roll a 5 to...
That 2 and 3 little mark, yeah, that's a good question. You'll notice that this 3rd box here this is a different card, has a 2 and a 3 on it. So in a 2-player game, the 2 players, they have to fill all those boxes. In a 3-player game, they have to fill all the boxes. In a 4 or 5-player game, they only have to fill in
the 2.
The 2.
Okay, I see.
I think. Unless I got that backward, but pretty sure. That's the number of pips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm correct. Yeah, here's a look at that in the rule book, in case you're curious, folks at home. The 2 and the 3. 4 or 5-player game, only the top 2 slots would need to be filled in this example.
I have a question. When you land on something that has an arrow, right? Okay, let's say if this one was down here.
Okay.
And I rolled a 2 and a 3. Do they stack?
Yes.
Like if I wanted... Wait, no, that doesn't make sense because the 2 doesn't have any income. Okay, never mind. The arrows.
I know. I think I know what you're saying.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. I understand what you're saying. You basically be able to activate the 3 twice in that case, with the arrow pointing to the 3. Or
8. Oh man, I don't want to spend all my money though. These are really good cards, but I don't want to spend all my money.
I understand.
What's this?
That lets you. move dice over? Let me look at that real quick in the rule book. Yeah, there's certain ones that we haven't seen yet. All right, there should be a charge on. Is there a little green? Yeah, this little. So this is a charge card. So you have to, you don't swipe it through a machine and buy for it. No, there's this little white circle means that whenever you put a dice on it to activate it, the ability, you instead place a charge. And again, placing a charge is a reward. And then the green means anyone's turn, whereas blue means your turn, red means your opponent's turn, green means anyone's turn. And it says here, well, let me see if I can find that specific thing, and then I'll let you know what it means. There's some examples in the rule book, but finding it.
Man.
Dice arrows. You may use this activation, remove the acquired charge, during the allocate dice step of either your turn or your opponent's turn. If you use this ability, you must use the sum of the dice. So you'd use the sum of the die. Using the arrow activation means you would gain the rewards for one position left or right of the sum of the dice, depending on the direction of the arrow. So that means let's say that you, if you have this card on your 4,
okay,
which is where it is, it's supposed to be on your 4, okay? Let's say that on a previous turn, you rolled a 4, you put a charge on there, and that was it. Now, again, on my turn, let's say I rolled 3 and a 6. Just because I didn't roll a 4, you can still activate it. It's a green ability, so you can activate it on anyone's turn. You can remove your charge, take the sum of the die, 9, and move it over by 1 and activate the 10 instead. Instead of the 9, you can activate it to 10.
Is that a choice, or do you have to activate?
You don't have to. You can. So let's say you really like the 12, or yeah, and I rolled an 11 with my thing. You could take the charge off that card, and instead of you activating the 11, you can activate the 12 instead.
I see.
So you can activate the charge regardless of whether or not the die rolled it or not.
Okay.
But you need to have the charge on there first. And to get the charge on there, you have to roll that number, put an energy cube on, and then on a future turn or whatever, you can take the charge off, activate the ability, regardless of whether or not you rolled that number or not.
Okay. Alright, sorry. I think I picked.
No.
I'm going to buy this one.
You're going to buy that one. Okay, so that's a 9.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I don't know if I'm going to spend all that money on it.
Oh, that's a lot on that's 3. Yeah, you'd be wasting... You'd be wasting 5 on that.
Oh my gosh. But then these other ones...
This is a rocket, it's 5. If anyone rolls it...
Who's going to roll a 10?
Well, you have to roll a 10 on your turn.
Exactly.
And then when you... or there's 8...
And it replaces an income, and I don't want to replace
Well, hey, look at this. If you roll an 11, you can activate the arrow and then push it to 10.
Or the income.
Uh-huh.
Oh. What if I had, like, all these arrows?
That's possible.
That's really funny. Oh, man. You know what? Gosh. Oh, my gosh. This game is really hard. I don't like that we can't add, like... I don't like that I can't buy 2 cards for 4,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because I don't want to, like, put it all the way back down. That's stupid.
I agree.
Alright, so yeah, I guess I'll go with your thing.
The 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to put that there, flip it over.
You're so good with strategy. I might as well.
When it comes to dice rolling...
Do we have to switch this?
No, that's so that at the end of the game, when someone reaches 40, it's just to make sure everyone has one final turn.
Okay.
So basically, let's say that you get to 40. That's to remind me, you took the first turn, so I should get one more turn, and then we'll end the game.
I see.
But if I get 40 first, that's it. Because you had the first turn.
Yeah, I understand. That's cool.
Yeah. All right, so your income goes back down to 2 for another turn.
Yeah. Oh, man, I just gave up an income. That makes me sad.
That's all right. You'll get more. You'll get more.
I know.
All right, 2 and 4. So I could either claim the 6, the 4, and that's a terrible roll for me. I'll just claim the 2 and be done with it. That gives me 4.
I can't claim anything.
Okay. And, I kind of like this charge ability. I think I'll take that.
Nice.
And
when do you charge it? If you roll it?
If you roll a 4.
Okay.
Or, add 2s together, 3 and a 1, 2 and a 2, that kind of thing. And that goes back down to 0, and then my turn goes back up to 2 because my income is 2. Replace. Okay, so what we're going to do here, folks, we're at 40 minutes, and my battery's at 50 minutes left. So what I'm going to do, we're going to play this off camera. We're going to come back at the end of the game, show you what happened, and give our initial first impression. So stay tuned. Okay, 2.5 hours later. That's that. All right, let's get to the results of the game, then I'll get to my thoughts. Our thoughts. So, I had 39 points. Ida Lee had more than that, 47. She had 47 points. The way it ended, she bought that yellow card there for 10 points, pushed her over the edge. And she even earned some victory points on my last turn. Again, she was the first player, so because she reached 41st, I still got to take one more turn so that we had an even number of turns throughout the entire game. I went and bought this 14 in the hopes of catching up. I had 25. It just wasn't enough. So she beat me. It was a different game for the both of us. I mean, my focus was on my money, and I was earning a lot of money, buying a lot of cards. As you can see, I was sort of spreading myself out here. On my turn, on her turn, no matter what she rolled, I was earning money, and I was trying to buy more of these cards, but she ended the game sooner than I wanted her to, so I couldn't capitalize on that strategy. So because she went out first, she had a lot of these rocket cards on her tableau there. So she was able to climb the victory point track a lot faster than me. I was thinking too long term. That was my problem. So she sort of, I don't want to say Zerg rushed because the game did take a while, but that's what she did. She Zerg rushed her way to victory, didn't allow me to complete this. But that's the name of the game.
I also had a lot of flipped cards that had rockets too.
Yeah, whereas I don't have any rockets up here as my deployed cards. She had this. So she was earning victory points a lot faster than me, although I was earning more money than she was generally because of the way I had all my cards. So anyway, final thoughts. I did take some notes as the result of this. One of my complaints, there needs to be an FAQ on some of the rules, some of the cards. For example, here is one card. Okay, so we know how the charges work, okay, but what does this 1 above the charge mean? Do we earn a money every time we activate this card and put a charge on it? Do we have to spend 1 money to put 1 charge on? Or when all the charges are in place, do we spend 1 money to remove all the charges and activate the ability down here? It doesn't say. There are, let's see if I can find one that has... I'm looking for a card with the money under the charge.
Oh, under it?
Yeah.
Right here.
Okay. So this one, for example, you remove the charge. This little white border seems to be the cost. So you remove the charge, you get the benefit here, including the money. Okay, fine. But this card is a little different. The money's above it. So that tells me that maybe we have to spend a money somewhere to do something in order to activate this, but that's the confusing part. So my advice to you folks is, if you can't find the answer to it, even on Board Game Geek, house roll it, do what you want. It's a game. Have fun. Oh, this is yours. All right. So yeah, that was one of my complaints. Needs an FAQ for some of these weird cards. Trying to think of another. Okay, cards, definitely play this on a felt table or tablecloth something, because trying to slide a card under, it's just, sometimes it's very difficult, and because everything is so clumped together, it's very easy to knock pieces around. So Ida Lee had the suggestion of including ridges or something, because these rolling dice or putting cards in place, it's very easy to knock this thing around and you end up with, messed up cards. It's really sloppy. So I would recommend a felt table, some way to keep your cards in place while you're doing that. Another thing, I love the engine building in this game. I love starting with nothing, and as you work your way up, you get your tableau more and more powerful to do more things. I love the engine building aspects. That's a plus. The length of the game The box says 60 minutes. I disagree. It took us 2.5 hours to get through this. Granted, this was our first game, so if it's your first game, expect a longer playthrough. But on top of that, it depends on the kind of players that you play with. If you're the kind of player, or you're the kind of group of players that has to spend 5 minutes analyzing each individual card over and over and over and over again on the same turn, or looking at knowing what it does for a future turn, you pick it up again. And if you're the kind of person that has to analyze everything through and through, this game is not 60 minutes. It's more like 2 hours plus, okay? A way around, oh, and the age limit is 14 plus. I could see a gifted kids 10 plus playing this game. The hardest thing for a smaller kid to do, sometimes smaller kids aren't really good with their hands, so they'll knock stuff around. So the little pieces are a concern for smaller kids. The cards might bend easily, but a gifted 10-year-old plus, no problem with this game. If they can play Machikoro, they can play this. Although Machikoro is probably easier. What else? Oh, and if you want to shorten the game, we haven't tested this obviously, but one of my ideas was instead of playing the 40, play to 30. That's just try that, or maybe even 20 if you want even shorter play. That's going to make the game really short.
Maybe 80.
Or maybe 80 if you want to spend all day playing this game.
Nah.
So, Idly, did you like this game?
I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite games.
One of your favorite games?
Played.
Awesome. She actually said after this game she wants to play again. I told her no. Because I'd like to go to bed sometime in the next century. But this is going to be staying downstairs, I think, in my shelf, because I love the engine building. Again, my complaints with the manual, the typos and things the manual's not bad, but it doesn't explain certain cards very well, certain effects. And I think an FAQ would definitely be helpful. I even went on Board Game Geek. I went online for like 10 minutes I just Google searched and I couldn't find anything. So maybe I need to look harder, but that shouldn't be necessary in a board game. In a board game, everything that you need, all the questions that need answered should be in the box. You shouldn't have to utilize the internet to figure out a rule problem. That should be solved right out of the gate. That's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't, that should be unnecessary. That's just, if you're doing that, that means the developers are lazy in putting stuff together.
Yeah.
So anyway, Space Base gets a thumb up from me. I love the first game that we played, and I plan on playing more. And I really liked it too. Yep. So if you guys want to see another run through of this, get the view count up there so that I'll know that you want to see more. If I'm only going to get 50 views on this, we're not going to do this again on camera anyway. But if you want to see more board games, get the view count up there, share it, on your social media websites, all that good stuff. MySpace, Twitter. Do people even still use MySpace? AOL. ICQ.
I don't know.
Yahoo
Instagram.
Chat. Yahoo Chat. Yeah.
Snapchat.
AOL Chat. Snapchat. Snapchat. Yeah, Instagram.
Sure.
Instagrams. Yeah, whatever. Instagames. Whatever you want to. Whatever. You share it. All right. This is Vince and Ida Lee. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
And we'll catch you guys next time.